So, guys, moving on over to the rookie, Justin Jefferson, coming out of LSU. What are your thoughts around Justin Jefferson?
I like Justin Jefferson a lot. I think that at LSU, he played inside and outside, so he is a very natural pairing with Adam Thielen. I think he has the ability to stretch the field. He's a long receiver with a great catch radius. Uh, and I think he is one of the few rookie receivers that I see making an immediate impact this year. Typically, you see rookie receivers struggle a little bit, whether it's the speed of the game, the physicality of the corners that they're going up against. They don't have as much space off the line. The field is kind of shrunken down because of the hashes, and they can't get as much spacing. But I think Justin will see. I think he'll see some decent volume here. I think Justin Jefferson can flirt with wide receiver 3 territory. I wouldn't be surprised to see him ended up as like wide receiver 32, something like that. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever. I think that with his ability to play inside and outside, it allows for the ability to play the matchups. Thielen does play better inside, as we said, so we might see Jefferson outside a little bit more than even what he did his senior season at LSU, but I think Cousins will like him, and I think he'll find that the ability to kind of toss that high ball up there and let Justin Jefferson go high point it and bring it down, it'll be good things for the red zone.
So since Mike Zimmer took over there in Minnesota, they did draft a receiver in the first round in 2016, and that was Laquan Treadwell. And everybody was frustrated with Laquan Treadwell. In fact, I think he got brought back. He was cut. He got brought back last year because they just needed bodies at wide receiver because of the Thielen injury, because of other injuries that they were dealing with. And it just never panned out for them. But you look at, history-wise, going back to 2009, the Vikings have taken a wide receiver in the first round in 2013 with Cordell Patterson, and in 2009, Percy Harvin, who was listed as a wide receiver, but was really more of a, Swiss Army knife type of guy. You kind of had to design a package around him. Same with Cordell Patterson, who was really a really good return guy. And on offense, you really needed to have kind of a package built around him because he wasn't, your prototypical wide receiver. I don't see that with Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson will adjust to the game a little bit more easily because of what he had to face at LSU, because of the defenses that he had to play against, and was still, very capable of putting up numbers. I think we all have that lasting image of the national championship game where he just balled out, or the game before that, in the semifinals as well. I like that pick for the Vikings. They had 2 picks there in the first round this year because they got rid of Stephon Diggs. And so, to me, Adam Thielen's value is from Justin Jefferson. Whether or not he can pick up the game and be a viable option early will determine how Adam Thielen's season goes, at least early on. So, yeah, I'm going to draft him, obviously, in dynasty leagues. He should be in your first round, I think, of your dynasty draft, rookie draft. For redraft leagues, I mean, you're going to look probably in that 9th, 10th round is probably where he's going to fall to. You don't agree with that? You think higher, lower?
Way lower for me.
Do you think so, huh?
Yeah, he's a guy. So, and this is where I would use some of the comp, right? Like, we've discussed how high we are on like Paris Campbell and Preston Williams and some of those kind of receivers out there that don't necessarily have the learning curve this year because they had that last year, and we'll probably see some good things happen there. But when you look at those are guys that typically I'm going to start targeting in the 10th, 11th, 12th round in a lot of cases. And I'm not going to necessarily put a Justin Jefferson on my team before I put like a Preston Williams or a Paris Campbell on my team. So for me, 13th round, you got it. I'm all over Justin Jefferson if he falls to me in the 13th, 14th round.
I think you got to have eyes on him, though, by the 9th, 10th round. You need to make sure that you have your eyes on him and paying attention to if it looks like he might start to slip off the table, because I do think that he's going to have a productive year. I don't think it's going to be exactly what Stephon Diggs did last year or the year previous when it was him and Thielen, and they were, 1,000 yards, whatever, 100 catches. But I still think he'll be productive, and I think you need to start paying attention around round 9, round 10 of Justin Jefferson.
No, I'd agree with that. And that's knowing your draft room, right? That's knowing the people that you're drafting with. It's a lot harder if you just kind of join a random league. But, like with ours, if we've been doing it for 12, 13 years or longer, you kind of have a feel for where people look for different types of guys and kind of where their honey holes are on things. So going as early as 9 in Dynasty, I definitely see that. In redraft, I do think that's where the value gets kind of pushed down a little bit, just because for myself, my personal draft strategy is I tend to stay away from rookie receivers in redraft leagues, just because as good as you think they're going to be, I'm going to let someone else have them for that developmental year. And if I'm wrong for that 1 year, you know what, so be it. I'll be wrong for that 1 year, but I'd rather take the higher floor in that 9th round than the potential high ceiling, just because I like the guy's tape coming out of college.
Yeah, and that's we discussed that a little bit on one of the previous episodes where we're talking about the rookies, that kind of stuff. Typically I'll let those guys hit the waiver wire. If I'm going to add them, it's going to be a 15th round type of deal, because it takes them a while to get adjusted to it. And typically you'll see them start to maybe pop in the back half of the year, but that's not one of those that I necessarily want to draft a guy and let him sit on my bench for the first 8-9 games before he maybe starts showing something. But I think you're right. I think Justin Jefferson will have some immediate impact this year, unlike some other rookie receivers out there. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when you look at Minnesota, they had 25% of their target share last year was vacated. They have 25% of all their passing work is a vacated target. And, sure, we'll see Thielen pick some of that up. In an injury-shortened year, he'll obviously get some more workload being a full season to it. But they also didn't bring they brought some extra guys in, but no big name that's really going to demand a ton of targets. Tajay Sharp is a guy that's going to get some play and get some targets, but I don't think it's one that he's going to pick up all of those targets that were vacated by when Stephon Diggs left. So I think Justin Jefferson will get a ton of targets out there, especially on a rookie play.